so what's up, everybody? This is Ruben Garcia, and this is a beautiful day. And today on the Proven by Ruben podcast, we have Mike and Tianna with Cornerstone. How are you guys?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. So if you could tell everyone who you are, what you do, how you do it, and all that good jazz.
For sure. You want to go first?
I'll
go.
Go
ahead.
So Mike and Tianna, like you said, and we decided to open up Cornerstone Design Company, which is a custom furniture and lifestyle store.
Yeah.
Basically, I retired out of the military about a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
Looked at my wife and said, I want to go into business for ourselves. And
I said no.
And, couple of speed bumps and obstacles. A few months later, we open it up and we get to
create beautiful things, beautiful spaces.
That's awesome. So what got you to say, let's open up a business?
So, in the military, airborne infantryman, that doesn't really transfer over to anything in the civilian world. So you
can't kill people for a living on the civilian world. It's kind of probably not a good idea,
Not a good idea.
Kind of illegal.
So you spend a long time trying to figure out what are you going to do when you get out of the Army, and what are your skills transfer to, or what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And you go all up and down the spectrum of, government contracting and all that kind of stuff. But by the end of the day, Tianna looked at me. She said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I want to serve people some way, shape, or fashion. I want to be a part of this. I want to be from somewhere. Being in the Army, we've moved every 3 years for 21 years.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be a part of a downtown where people knew your name and you waved and
be
stuff
a part
like
of the
that.
community. Yeah.
And we wanted to provide stuff that we thought was important." Which kind of led to furniture. I had a hobby of building in the military. And one thing led to another, and you always question yourself if you're good enough to do anything, or if you're good enough to build furniture, or you're good enough to design.
Going through that imposter syndrome of like, am I really a professional? Like, am I, you know?
But like with anything that we do, we always kind of jump into it, and we let it work out, work all the kinks out as we go, and that's what we chose to do. So
that's like the magic sauce just to get started.
Just do it.
Just go.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people procrastinate about anything, and it was a big thing in my Army career, and even Tianna, she's a labor and delivery nurse as well. We would procrastinate. Should I go to school? Should we have another kid? Should we buy this house? Should we go to Ranger school? But we can't do this, can't do that. And I think people waste so much time trying to come up with the perfect plan, and you'll never be fully ready to do anything. We pray about
it. Yeah. We get God's green light, and then we just do it.
There we go.
Like that's just we just jump. Yeah, we just jump. Because, at the end of the day, outside of something causing you physical harm to yourself and to your family or your loved ones.
Yeah.
What do you really have to lose?
Right.
Everything is like a life lesson. There's a lesson to learn from even our failures. This is our third business that we've owned.
Oh, cool.
So we owned a grocery delivery service before grocery delivery
here in Fayetteville?
up. Actually in Columbus, Georgia.
Oh, gotcha.
It was called Sweet Pea Grocery Delivery. And it was awesome. We were like one of the first people before Instacart and, everything got really big. And now we sometimes sit there and go like, we'd have just did that a little bit longer. But every single business that we owned, did well in its own way.
Right.
And we got to learn, what's important, what's not important, what should we invest in, what should you do to spend time on, where should you cut costs. So it was a learning. Everything that you do is you learn from it.
And you're never fully ready. You're never fully ready. You'll never have that perfect plan.
Right.
You'll waste so much time creating the perfect plan, but as
Only
soon
to
as
find out it's not perfect anyway.
As soon as you start to execute it, plan's going to change anyway. There's an old saying in the military: the plan is only good until the first bullet flies.
Right.
And everything. Now you just got to wing the rest of it.
Yep.
So.
Mike Tyson says, everyone has a plan till you get punched in the face.
That's right. That's exactly
That's it.
Exactly correct.
And owning a business, you're going to get lots of punches in the face.
That's right.
That's
no doubt.
The way that it goes. So,
it sounds like you guys, it sounds like you guys got ahead of the trend. So you guys it looks like you might have an eye for what's coming up.
I hope so.
If for the grocery delivering thing,
have
you saw that before it happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tianna's gifted at that. She's very, I don't know where it comes in. And I think what makes our dynamic so great is there's a lot of builders out there, and there's also a lot of designers, but is there a team to do it together?
Right.
Builders have trouble. Our market is mostly a female market.
Yeah.
I can't I can't speak that language.
Right.
Obviously I can talk to my wife, no problem, but she tells me what looks good and I make it. So if it was up to me or if it was just up to her, I don't think we'd be as successful.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think the team dynamic makes it phenomenal.
Team awesome.
So you see what may be a trend coming up, and
for sure.
you're the executor on making sure that thought becomes reality.
Yes,
my job
because
is
I'm my personality. I'm like a hummingbird. I can be good at a lot of things, but me getting from that A point to Z point, I'll probably flutter to something else, and he's the one that's like, okay, we're gonna keep going until we get to the end of this. So
she dumps her ideas, I execute and see them the rest of the way through, so she can continue on to move on to the next idea, and that frees up her mind as I'm. So she's kind of like planning tomorrow while I execute today.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes
100%.
sense. So
that's a good way to put it.
she'll always think about, and even currently in this season, obviously we're in Christmas season, which I'm building furniture for customers today and other home goods, but she's thinking into
We've already
Valentine's
planned our
Day,
Valentine's and spring designs. So that's a done deal. Like we're already purchasing for that, and the design. We change our store seasonally, so we love that when people come in, they go, "Oh my god, it looks completely different."
That's right.
But yeah, we already know what it's going to look like in February and March.
So. For each piece, do you guys put something special on there where only in some sense that you guys know where it's at, or is there like a certain logo? Or
so we pride ourselves on the character of our, we definitely hand select all the wood. So as we get the rough cut lumber, you inspect the boards obviously to make sure they're not damaged in any way.
Right.
But I try and find a piece of character in each board to at least have it on the show side. Most builders will put it
like the knots on the bottom, like they don't want to show it. They want it to be very uniform, but that's how know that it's...
That's the personality.
Yeah. Add the personality. And you'll come to find out, for example, if you have a knot in your tabletop and maybe the knots will tend to fall out. So I'll generally cut them out. Yeah. And it'll leave a hole in the tabletop.
Right.
You sand it really down and smooth, and people will start to. We had a lady tell us that she had something to tell her family that was really nerve-wracking, and she remembers sitting at the table to tell them, but she kept rubbing that piece of furniture on that spot, just to kind of get her until she could work up the courage to do so. And I thought it was cool because we were part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to do that, and that piece of character got her through that stressful.
Do you remember picking out that piece of wood?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
So what made you pick that wood, right? Because there was that feeling, that reason why.
Yeah. I mean, when you see it and you're like, man, I think that's going to stand out really nice. And I think that might be a little bit of I'm not skilled at designing by any means, but I can see what.
He can pick a sexy piece of wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. He can do that. Yeah.
And then on top of that, at the end of it, sometimes on the bottom.
I feel like you're judging all the wood in here.
No,
not at all.
All this fake wood is being judged.
We will hook you up before we leave. We got you.
But other than that, if we don't do it, we also try not to. There was a good saying from the Amish. Amish people are phenomenal furniture builders.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Anytime I get a chance to look at their work, I do so for inspiration and for learning purposes. But what I didn't know one time until we asked a guy, they put an imperfection in everything that they make on purpose. And because they say only God is perfect, and I thought that was phenomenal.
Yeah,
so
super cool.
We don't necessarily we don't do it purposefully, but we also we're not afraid of it either.
It tells a story. We love to combine. We just built a table. I say we, but today. He just built a table today. Is finishing it up, and a sweet couple came in and they bought some property down in Lumberton, and what they thought was a chicken coop was actually old slave quarters that they had on their land. So they were like, well, we can't keep this. So they're like, we're going to tear this down, but let's make something good out of the bad. So they brought us this barnwood, but we mix this rough old barnwood and we made it beautiful, and added these mahogany legs. So just that story of the old, mixing it with the new. It also makes it special. Nobody else will have that table ever.
Right.
We can make that same design, but there's only one of each of the tables that we make. So that's
people can bring you guys wood.
And under certain circumstances, so
that was a unique circumstance.
Yeah. And it'd have to be. I mean, what we generally try to do is we try to look at the wood. A lot of people we had the hurricanes brought us a lot of
people wanted to bring their wood.
People wanted to bring their fallen trees in and stuff like that. Wood has to be at a moisture content for furniture and stuff like that. So brand new fallen trees doesn't really work. But if it's a dried barn or you've had my grandfather had this wooden storage in his garage then we can definitely.
But you can cut down your tree in your front yard and us mill it up and then say, hey, let's make a table. Yeah. It would look crazy within a year because it's too much moisture in it.
But I would challenge people that, definitely doesn't hurt to ask, if we can do this and so forth. I think that's what our main business model, I think 80% of our business is people show us photos or ideas and then we make it. So just when you come into the store, it's not based off of what you see. Literally what you can find on the internet, we can generally do.
Right.
So that's where we get.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it before, but man, to watch, kind of put a small camera on your shoulder and watch how and why you pick the wood that you pick.
Yeah.
And watch it from where it started to where it ends up.
Yeah.
And then to the story of the lady who's getting the courage to tell something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine if we watched that whole thing?
Yeah. Yeah. That would be cool.
To be part of that?
Yeah. I think one of our goals for future growth, we've always wanted to have my workshop attached to our retail space.
Yeah.
And we'd love to have some soundproof glass so kids can come up and see the workshop and find inspiration and still let people know that there is value to still working with your hands and you can still be successful at it, stuff like that. And I think that's a big thing. But until then, we're going to continue to maybe try and do videos and YouTube and stuff like that and show what's going on.
That's kind of one of those things where
we need to have you come to the workshop.
I'm about to say something like this. It did not start off perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember the very first one that we had, which I just had. Is that me?
Yeah.
I think someone's calling me on Facebook. Someone's calling me right now. On Travis Anderson, you're ruining everything.
What's up, Big Trav?
What's up, Trav? Not to condone this though. Don't do it again.
Right.
But where was I going with that? Oh yeah. So this isn't perfect. I just had someone post the first podcast I ever did.
Yeah.
And it's like this grainy footage.
Yeah.
And I didn't. What's up, everybody? This Ruben. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That did not. It was like, all right. So here's the first one. And then we just kind of did it.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to just if you guys just set up something like this and just even fast forward the footage on some area, like
that's a good idea.
I would just dig it. I guess I'm doing it just for myself.
Right.
Really, is the reason why.
No, I agree.
We will do that just for Ruben.
That's
2019, more videos.
First
coming.
one.
Right, more videos. Absolutely.
We'll dedicate it to you. Absolutely. We'll do a shout out.
But other than that, what we do for the tables, we'll probably underneath. Sometimes I'll write a Bible verse on the bottom side if it's a special relationship if we're doing for a friend or something. Or,
right.
We try and do that.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit, really.
Agreed.
That first business that you guys that was the grocery.
So the first business we ever had was a landscaping company.
Got it.
What was it called? Lawn salon. Yes.
That's not bad.
That's not bad, right? Mike was, active duty for those 21 years, and while he was deployed, what kept me sane was yard work, landscaping. Mm-hmm. Our yard was like immaculate.
Yeah.
So of course I'm crazy, and he comes back, and I was like, babe, this is what I want to do. I want to do, yards for a living, and again, we grew it, and it was super successful. But at that point in time, him being active duty. And me being a mom of then 3 children, now we have 5, it was extremely hard to balance because females are awesome and they're super strong, but I'm not as strong as he is.
Yeah.
So, just going through those growing pains of, the first little bit in most businesses, you have to work it yourself. You cannot afford to hire other people.
Right.
We found ourselves I get off of a 20-hour work day and I have to go help landscape 10 yards.
Yeah.
It was so much.
I think the end was we laid 3,000 square foot of sod and I had pneumonia. I didn't know I had pneumonia at the time, but after, I was like feeling crappy. We finished the yard. It looked gorgeous. We come back home and I have a fever. My neighbor comes over. She's like, Tianna, you look horrible. Like, you need to go in. I was like, I'm fine. I take some Tylenol. She's like, no, I'm going to. And they were like, okay, yeah, but,
did you guys ever hire anybody, or was it just you guys?
So we did try to hire a couple of people. It is not always easy to get people to come to work.
Yep.
So that was
especially in that industry. I bet it's a little bit harder,
Yeah.
And there's a big transition too. You can go from doing fine by yourself. But once you hire someone, now you're doing insurance and all that other, that's a big step. So are you really going to, you're going to have to sit down as a business owner and say, okay, are we really doing this?
Right.
Are we really jumping all in?
And we've learned that if it's time to hire when you're losing money if you don't.
Yeah.
And it's not time to hire just because you need more time to do this and this and that. Like, so that was a learning curve. That was something that we learned from that, that business. So
how'd it feel to shut that first business down?
Relieving almost.
Really?
To be honest. Yeah.
Once
because you guys were exhausted, it sounds like.
Yeah. Right.
You were exhausted, and then when you run the numbers, as far as, I don't remember how long we were open for, but,
less than a year.
Yeah. We didn't lose.
Right.
We didn't really gain. I think we broke even once you buy all the equipment and advertising and stuff like that. So for breaking even in the first year,
we were like, okay.
I think that's okay.
No doubt.
And then when you take away what you learned from it, and plus for me, and I'm speaking for myself, I had a career. I'm in the military, so it was kind of relaxing for me. I was like, now I can just do one job, which is already hard enough as it is. And take it from there. And then for her, I think you were transitioning into getting in the medical field at that point.
Just started school to become a nurse, so it was kind of like, oh, okay, now I can kind of focus, on this. But
then that business bug bit you guys, and it started to return.
It did, and then Sweet Pea came about after I graduated nursing school, and we decided to have Mila, and she was a itty bitty baby. I was working night shift, and I'm like, oh my God, if I could just have somebody go and get my groceries, like just go get my groceries. Like, this is the thing. And I'm like, and then we saw this college, through our research, we found these two college guys that went to UT. And they started, and I can't even think of the name of it, but look it up, down in Austin, this grocery delivery service, and they literally made, I think it was $625,000 in their first year.
Dang.
And clearly Austin is a, booming city. Sure. That's, a perfect place to start something like that. And, I mean, we did really well. There was no, on the financial side, there was no issues, no drama. We had what we called our Sweet Peas. And you had your own personal Sweet Pea, your own personal shopper, and you would shop online. We had an online grocery store. We went and shopped at Publix, and then your Sweet Pea would bring you your groceries. So for us, with that business model, we didn't make a lot per transaction. Our Sweet Peas made more than we did. What we would make a lot once it kind of went viral, and a lot of people were grocery shopping. But
So the carry on from that was, again, life continued. I was still in the Army, and then her nursing career was growing and stuff like that.
Right.
And we've got PCS orders. We were going to El Paso.
Yeah. And we're famous for loading our plates with stuff to do.
Nah. Yeah. I doubt it.
We always, I feel like, we always beg for time off. We always talk to each other like, gosh, I need a day off. And then once we have, the first day we won't say nothing, but by day 2 we're looking at each other like
just that creative, you're like, oh, let's
go do something.
This. Yeah.
So we're our own worst enemies. We pile it on our plates.
Right.
We generally overload our plate.
Right.
So we have to kind of slowly start peeling stuff away. And that's kind of what happened to Sweet Pea, Army career and medical field and stuff like that.
And just a lot of trying to run such a brand new business from 6,000 miles away. I was like, well, this is awesome. We'll see if we can sell the name, sell the model, and move on.
Yeah.
So
were you able to?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What is some of the stuff that you guys learned during Sweet Pea that you've transitioned to?
For sure. Advertising.
Yeah.
Marketing. We learned a lot of marketing. That's one of my strengths, that whole creative, what's going to get people's attention and things like that. But we jumped all in and did digital billboards. And it was $800 a month, which is a big cost for a new business. But not thinking that digital billboards are more geared towards people who have been in business for a long time. It's a reminder, not an awareness tool.
Right.
So if there's no grocery delivery service in your city, and you pay $800 a month for 20 seconds at a stoplight, maybe, people aren't getting to know your brand.
Right.
They're seeing it, but it means nothing to them.
That's right.
It's not like seeing the Chick-fil-A cows on the side of the road and you're like, yeah, Chick-fil-A, let me go.
Right. Take the next exit.
That's right. Take the next exit. So we learned that, there has to be that brand recognition, and you have to be strategic in the ads that you choose to place and do. People have to really know who you are before you do something.
So for and the people who listen to this podcast are business owners.
Yeah, for sure.
Majority. So what has helped you out? What does that marketing side look like?
Yeah. So for us, the biggest thing has been, one, of course, social media. That's like, social media's king. Everybody's on their phone. Everybody's on social media every single day.
If you're at the stoplight and you got a billboard, how many people are really
truly
doing
there? Yeah, exactly, 100%. But for us, a big thing has been word of mouth. That's been huge for us.
Know your demographic. Know who you want to sell to and cater to that specific. For example, like we said, our demographic is women. Yeah. Right. So I should be out. You know what I'm saying? Like women. I don't know scientifically, but in my opinion, women will have more chance from buying from another woman than they would coming into a guy and me trying to sell, or decorate their homes for them. It doesn't necessarily sit well, but it just seems better coming from another woman who's a homeowner, who's a mother.
Yeah, I trust her way more than I trust
Absolutely. You. Yeah, and rightly so. Rightly so.
Yeah.
But so stuff like that, if you target your market, and that'll, you can
dial it
affect advertising that. And then after that, create a buzz somehow, do something, go above and beyond what you would think the norm is. Everybody knows to do a sale, and everybody knows to put a sandwich board on your sidewalk and stuff like that. But think of something else, even if it doesn't really have to do with anything to do with your business, but it gets people into your business.
Right.
Yeah.
And host that event and work those late hours. And
I
think our biggest lesson is just hustle. Hustle as hard as you can. Pull late nighters, and it'll reap benefits.
Also, I think creating trust has been key for us.
Right.
People trust our design. People trust our quality of work, and that has been super helpful. Yeah. I think I don't remember where I read it at, but it's like nobody wants to feel like they've been sold.
Yeah.
Like we hope. And we feel, because we have a lot of repeat, customers, that when people leave, they feel like, man, that was awesome. Like, I felt like I was a part of their family, and we really connected, and we really are listening to you. We're not just trying to sell you something.
People can smell when someone's faking the funk.
You can't beat, if we were to give any advice to any other business owners, customer service.
Yeah.
We tell our employees that work in the store, for us, the tables, the furniture will sell itself eventually, but it won't if you don't talk to them and love on everybody that comes in the door.
That is a job.
Don't sell them furniture. Ask them how they're.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Don't sell them furniture. Don't use car salesmen to people.
Right.
Ask them how their day went. Find something with whatever they tell you and relate it to whatever you're doing. Like for me, my go-to, since we have so many children, and we talk about kids, we talk about marriage, we talk about hard work, and I can relate to that. So we talk to our customers about that, and it makes them feel welcome.
Right.
And then I don't have to mention, what do you think of this table over here?
Right.
Yeah.
They feel comfortable. They're in a comfortable environment that we have created that hopefully maybe gives them some inspiration of what their home could look like.
Right.
And now they are more comfortable to purchase and so forth.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the secret. I mean, that's really it.
Yeah.
If you're kind to people,
we love, and that's the thing, like, we genuinely love our people. Yeah. Like, it's not we're one of those weird people that we love to give hugs, and I say I love you to my friends, because I really do love you. I really do love you. Right. Like, I do. I care for you, and that is when people come in and they interview, our team is just rock solid. Like, they're just rock solid. I let them know, like, that is your number one job at Cornerstone, is you love everybody who walks through that door. I don't care what they look like.
Is there a certain... Do you guys... I don't want to use the word script, but kind of a script. Like, do you give them something that they have to ask when someone enters to start a conversation?
But I have things that they can't say.
Oh, okay.
So
perfect. Just as good.
It's like backwards.
Sure.
So you cannot ask a person a question within the 30 seconds that they walk through the door. Like, no questions. No questions whatsoever.
So give me an
Not
example.
like, so if you were walking to Cornerstone, I wouldn't be like, hey, Ruben, how's it going? I just asked you a question.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, research just shows, like, when you walk into a new environment, you have to acclimate to that environment. And you have to take it all in, especially with our brand, because we change so often. So it's not like Walmart where you go in, I know where the milk is, I'm getting, like, you're an autopilot.
Right.
For us, we try to create this dynamic experience. So give them a second. Like, just
so what
a
do
welcome.
Say?
We say, hey, welcome to Cornerstone. Walk in, and they better pause for at least 30 seconds before they spark up another conversation.
Yeah.
It's a good pause.
Yeah.
It's a good pause.
It's interesting because it's a shift in almost the pattern of just society. Like, I mean, as soon as someone walks in, it's like, how's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, is there anything I can help you with?
Yeah.
Like, it's
and
legit.
They can never ask that question.
Yeah. What brings you in?
That
like
one makes me want to throw
right.
away.
Yeah.
Keywords like, what brings you in today? Are you looking for something specific?
Can I help you find anything?
So interesting.
Like, that is, we play games sometimes, and we're like, especially on like a busy weekend, shop small. We did like $100 gift card giveaway. So you start off with whoever's like working the floor, they have the gift card. If you hear them say like, hey, can I help you find anything? Or then you get to come up, take it, and then, it keeps going. So whoever ends up with the gift card. But we really work hard at that. It's just that the foundation of sales is trust.
Yeah. So when do you know? Well, when does your employee know it's the right time to ask the question?
For sure, because you're building that relationship. So if you come into Cornerstone and we say, hey, welcome to Cornerstone, then you go, you paused, because I just threw you off. And you were like waiting for me to like pounce and try to sell you something, right? So then you're like, okay. But then you're waiting, but we've given you like 30 seconds. That's a good pause.
Yeah.
So now you're in, you're checking it out. And by then, we hope, if we're doing our job right, you've said something to us. If that's your personality type, which we also have learned to read like certain personalities. But if your personality is a little bit extroverted or what we call a rabbit, then you said, oh my gosh, I love it. Or you're like, oh, this is cool. Then that's our like in to be like, oh yeah, awesome. Have you ever been in before?
Right.
And if you say yes, then we say welcome back and tell you what's going on this week, or, if we have anything new.
Right.
If you've never been in before, because our brand has to be explained, most stores you walk into and what you see is what you get. With us, people don't know unless they know us that we can really create you whatever you want.
Right.
So
we have to explain that every time.
And then also because of what we have, and we've kind of shifted and added more lifestyle things in our store.
Yeah.
But because our price point is higher, we know that the average person that comes in for the first time is not going to buy anything anyway. So that completely takes the pressure off of our team to try to sell you something that day, because you're like, from seeing it to decision time could be up to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So just make that relationship. Meet them. What's up? How's your kids? What's your kids saying?
And there's keywords, or key actions that a customer might have. If they, I'm unsure, I'm not certain, but I heard about you guys. So that's fishing. They're fishing for information, and they're looking for guidance. And what we've come to realize is what seems, it's harder for me. What seems so easy to me is not necessarily easy for everybody else. So when I sit there and say, well, let's design this kitchen, or let's design this table, to me that's insanely easy, but not everybody can do that. So they'll send out those phishing signals like, well, I was thinking of getting this table, but I'm not really sure. Well, that's my key to now give you my opinion on, because that's what essentially that's what they're looking for.
Right.
So we hone in on those keywords and try and act on those. But by asking more realistic and transparent questions, I don't want to sell you the most expensive table in my store.
We don't want to sell you something you don't need either. Like, I don't want to sell you anything. I want to help you achieve your goal.
Right.
Like, so if your goal is to host your family of 12, let me help you get there.
Yeah.
Right.
So our questions are, do you have children? That's a big furniture decision.
Right.
Because am I going to sell you this insane exotic wood that should never be touched because, it's, or you have kids, and we all know kids are going to,
they're going to do homework at the table, so you don't want a softwood.
True.
Which could save you money.
Right.
But if your kids are going to be writing on it, you don't want pen
see
marks.
Those words forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
we get to know it that way, and military, because military moves a lot, so you want something a little more durable,
Right.
So we find those words and we talk to them that way, and that is real. We try and stay.
Yeah.
We try and stay transparent. If we can stay, and we admit that this table here might not be the best for you, even though it looks beautiful.
Right.
To me, that tells the people that, man, these guys are honest with us.
Right.
So honesty, trust, all the basics that you learned in school, just how you treat people.
And then product knowledge is probably the third thing that we really hone in on with our team. Every single day, whoever's in the store is responsible for picking a new item and learning as much as they can about it and emailing the team. That alone, it takes your sales from your sales team from being salesy. Sure. Oh, don't you want, hey, we have this new book, it's on sale. To you are now the expert. Yeah. And you get to take your clients on a journey.
Exactly.
You're helping them to pick whatever it is, the best thing for whatever they're looking for. Yeah. You need a gift for your mom? Awesome. What is she into? What does she like? And I can tell you the story about this. I can tell you a story where this leather came from or who made this jewelry. And
consumers love the story. They want a story behind whatever they're buying.
No doubt.
So if we can, with the knowledge where it comes from and who made it and why it was, we have this. We just started carrying
rugged oak,
leather, this leather goods. This man and his daughter make these purses and other leather items. Mm-hmm. His daughter's 8 years old, and it was so funny because I was just thrown back by it when they came into the store. He came into the store to have.
He's a local guy.
Yeah,
he's local. He's actually active duty.
Yep, he came into the store, asked us if we would carry his leather items. But he brought his daughter with him, and she was part of the business meeting too.
She had her clipboard with the wholesale pricing, the retail price. She was as much a part of the.
How old is she?
8.
So he would ask.
Super sweet.
He would ask hey, what was the measurements of that one purse? And she looked. She's like, oh, it's 24 by 24. So she was just as much involved.
Yeah.
So not only is it a good family dynamic for them.
Were y'all sold when she pulled out the clipboard?
Done. I
personally was sold as soon as I saw the
the product sold itself.
For sure. Yeah.
But so when we relay that story to somebody else, who wouldn't do that? That's just phenomenal.
If you're going to buy a leather purse, okay, I can buy this one from Coach and give back to Coach, who doesn't really need it. Or I can get this insane quality made by a local family who's just trying to take care of their family, and it's just as beautiful, if not more. I personally think it's more beautiful. Yeah. Which one? Because we're consumers, we have a choice.
Story when someone asks about it.
Right. Yeah. And so people will take that purchase, and then they'll go to their friends, and they'll share that story.
Yeah, exactly.
And that also creates communication, and creates relationships, it creates. So just by having those two small things.
But if your people don't know the story.
Yes. Well, and I think, and kind of backing up a little bit, for you guys to give almost like that homework assignment for the employee to research something, there's a different energy they have about what they just 100%. Researched too, 100%. Because, and you start building the passion for what they've learned more about, they're more willing to share about it.
You can definitely tell.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Who loves what? Yeah. Because that's what sells when they're there. Because you do sell what you're passionate about.
Yep. Make the employees invested in something, and they'll.
So have they kind of knocked at your door, the employees, and said, "Hey, I would like to open up my own Cornerstone," because it sounds like you guys are building a strong culture.
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that. I'm so very attached to my people. I love them so much that we do joke about that. Your parting gift when you leave is going to be a Cornerstone. So when you go, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to open another one. Hopefully in the future. But
it'd be cool if we looked at an aerial. Of Cornerstones, and it was legit like a cornerstone of squares.
It would be super cool.
Awesome. I know.
Yes. Ruben, find us appropriate.
Right?
Do it.
That's cool. For you to, I don't know. I just felt like they do. They start to feel the passion.
Yeah.
They're like, you know what, this may be something I want to be part of.
Yeah.
Deeper.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I am and have always been, and one of the reasons why I went into women's health and was working on my master's in midwifery is because I love women. Like, love women. And
me too.
Yes, right? I love them. Like, we are strong. We're fierce. We bring forth life. I mean, women are incredible. So to have like a team of women, one of the things that is so very important to me is that when you come to Cornerstone, we want to know what your gifts are, what your passions are. Mm-hmm. And every single one of our people work within their gifts. So Maddie went to design school down in Savannah, and she's our like spatial design. She majored in textiles, but she is insane at merchandising. Like, she just knows what looks good. And Ansley is our youngest team member. She's 17, but you would never know that she is 17. She's already like taking college courses and all of that. And she wants to do missions works, and she's really big on giving back to the community. So she's now our new public relations person. Like, and that's so having everybody like, I want to build titans. I want you to leave and like take the world by storm. Like, just this time that we get to have with him at Cornerstone is just this little piece. Mm-hmm. You know, I want them when they go, if they go, to be powerhouses.
Yeah.
So, and it also helps us be, as an employee, to give them a title so they have responsibility, so they have investment in the store.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to just say, well, you're a retail associate. Okay. You know, but here's your talents, and we want you now to be in charge of this. Mm-hmm. And when you give them that ownership, then they'll generally, obviously, take it farther and take it to the next, because now they're responsible. You give somebody responsibility, they don't want to let people down. It's human nature.
Yeah. And they got buy-in on their own passion.
Exactly.
Right.
So 2 things real quick.
Yeah.
1, agree with the women statement, because with my wife giving birth, I was on this trip, like right afterwards, I was like, you were the freaking, I can't even, like, just sitting back, I was like, there's no way, you know, you don't even finish sentences, you're just blown away.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mike was the same way.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Our 5th child.
Yeah.
We did a home birth. We birthed at home, which
legit.
Yeah. Blown away by that, but I got to deliver my baby, and it was probably the coolest thing I've ever done in my entire life. What a great experience. But also what a segue into how awesome women are. Like, phenomenal. So it was super cool for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's so legit. I mean, so the nurse, she was, when our newest daughter was coming, I was all in the mix.
Yeah.
Dude, I was all in it.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, you're going to grab, you're just going to grab okay, all right. I was like, yeah, dude, I want to be in it. Like, get me there. But still blown away of just how freaking strong. And I'm nerding out because, like, I'll see I don't know what it's called. I apologize.
It's okay.
I'm in front of an expert. These lines moving up and down.
And
someone go off the freaking chart. And I'd take a picture and run over there like, look what you just did. Like, you went off the freaking chart with pain.
That. Yeah.
And like, womaned it out.
Right? Yeah.
But like, so anyways, that was awesome. And now with, where did the name Cornerstone come from? Because it sounds like, and I'm probably, you throw what it really means. It sounds like you're building like a cornerstone for your freaking employees. Like, this thing they're building in themselves, and a cornerstone to wherever they want to be.
Yeah, 100%.
So 2 things, I think.
It means a lot of things, I think. But
Cornerstone for us, I think our flagship, our signature item is a table, a dining table.
Yeah.
We're both firm believers that the dining room table is the cornerstone of every home.
Got it.
Everything happens at a table. Laughter happens, gathering, jokes, people asking to marry your daughter happens at a table. Tears, arguments, most importantly, prayers happen at a table. So if we can provide a piece of furniture
I love that you still get goosebumps when you say
it's amazing because there's so many memories that are created at a table. So if we can provide a piece of furniture that hopefully nowadays, because family nowadays, they're on their phones, they sit in front of the TV, they eat their dinner. But if we can provide something that maybe will make them want to sit at a table because maybe it's a nice piece of furniture, then those memories can be created within that family. And then they can take those stories on, to wherever they go to next. It's just, good family dynamics. Other reasons, other backings behind Cornerstone help me out because I just drew a blank. what I was saying.
It's okay. Cornerstone is one of Mike's favorite worship songs.
Yep.
So that was like the original meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when we were gearing up to start Cornerstone, he was, retiring from the Army and moving forward with all these like government, like executive security positions and things like that. And then the federal hiring freeze happened. So that put all that like 8 months of like moving forward and more interviews, like that was all like everybody's back to square one.
Right.
So he came to me and he's like, I feel like God just keeps shutting these doors because we're supposed to be doing something else. Like this is clearly not where we're supposed to go. And I was like, well, I feel like you have an appointment with God and you've got to keep it because I can't tell you what you need to do. I can't tell you what's going to make you happy or, where we need to go. And so we made a deal. I was like, okay, every day for the next week, I'll keep the kids like in the morning, like out of your hair. You go in your office, you get in God's word, you pray about it. I mean, like this is your journey.
Right.
And so he did.
Yeah. For 7 days, we said, and it was funny as when I started building, so back up a little bit, when I first started building furniture as a hobby, we would sell it at little markets, downtown markets and stuff like that. So every weekend I would load up these big farm tables in the back of a pickup truck and we'd drive them down to some farmer's market, unload everything. Yeah. Nobody comes to a farmer's market to buy furniture generally, but it was more advertisement.
Yeah.
Load them back up, and do that. We do it, as much as we possibly could. But I had a sign outside that said Cornerstone Custom Furnishings because of, the table being the cornerstone and, my favorite worship song. So that name has always been around for quite some time. So now fast forward back into trying to figure out what we're going to do. So I go every morning in my office and I randomly open the Bible to wherever page it lands on. And the first paragraph, every day for those 7 days, the first paragraph that I read had the word Cornerstone in it for 7 days. And I was like, so on day 7, when I come out of my office and she looks at me and she says, well, what are we doing? I said, we're going into business. We're opening up a business. And she's like, oh my gosh. Like this is.
I'm like, we have 5 kids. 3 are on their way to college.
Right.
I'm in grad school.
I think it's funny. You're like, no, you need to go to that room. You need to talk to God.
Ask again. I think you heard wrong. I think
and then you come out and you're like, nope, that was wrong.
I didn't hear that. Right. I didn't. Jesus didn't.
So and
JC and we're cool
like
that, but JC didn't give that to me. So,
and the funny part was we still doubted afterwards because she said, she said okay, but we continued on and we set ourselves impossible goals. Like we said, okay, if this happens, then it's meant to be, and there's no way that this is going to happen. If we get this space, if we make this offer, if we do this in this timeline, it was unrealistic goals that were not going to be achievable. There's no way. And we always said, like I said, if it happens, then it was meant to be.
They got just over the door,
And every one of them happened, and we're like,
crazy.
Well, geez. So that's also what makes going into business so great for new business owners. If you know why you're doing it, then everything else is just smaller details. Like if you know your purpose,
your why,
what is your purpose here? Everything else will fall into place because you are going to hit road bumps or speed bumps and roadblocks and so forth, and times are going to be tough, and finances are going to be tough, and family life, and you're going to realize maybe, hey, I'm not giving attention to my kids enough, and I can't get to the gym, and all these things that you want to do. But it's always backed up with, okay, I know why I'm here, and that will get you through all those crazy instances that you're going through. So I think that's made it insanely easier.
I think it took about a year before, for me personally, it took about a year and a couple of months before I was all in at Cornerstone. That first year is just like, roller coaster trying to figure it out. And you're like, you have like really high times and you have really low times. You're like, oh my gosh, like how are we going to do this? Like, what's the deal? And I'm like, okay, maybe we should just be out. Maybe we should just like, okay, maybe this was just it. And then it was like a big shift for me. Like I'll be super transparent and say like, I was super salty with God in January because I went back to working a nursing job full time. And I was like, well, God, you said that we were supposed to do this. Now I have to like run Cornerstone and work 3 12-hour shifts and be a mom of 5 and, have employees. I'm like, I'm pissed. Yeah. Like I'm annoyed.
And tired. Yeah.
Like I'm tired. Yeah. And over that time, God was just really teaching me like that He is just good. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't matter if we're like killing it or it's low. Like the lights are on. the bills are semi-paid. And, you know, everybody's healthy, happy, like,
yeah,
it's all good. So,
do you think that was more of like a humbling? He was
100%.
like just humble.
Yeah. 100%. Like, humble and like a trusting thing that, like, what is the goal? Like, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Like, it was the goal to kill it and really, like, you know, make a bunch, or was the goal to really, like, love on the people in your community? Because if it was just to love on the people in your community and then the extra of that is the sales, then is that what you're doing? So, you know.
And for our personalities, too, from me being in the military, and, you know, she's an A-type personality as well, is we love being in control. We love being in charge. Hence, entrepreneurship. We want to be our own bosses. Yep. But when you're doing what we're doing, and we feel like we're doing it because the Lord told us to do it, then we're not in charge of anything. We're not.
Right.
Like we own the business and we make the rules and stuff like that, but that's not our purpose.
Right.
So it was very hard for us to be passengers and just go along for the ride.
Yeah.
And say, okay, there are going to be bad months, there are going to be great months, but no matter what, it's not under our control.
Like, just because God told you to do it doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
Right.
Like, that's just not.
Well, yeah, and sometimes, you know, even in the military, they'll beat you down to build you up.
Right.
And maybe that's
100%.
kind of what that was.
And I definitely feel that was the case when, you know, at the end of the summer, August was my, July was my last month at the hospital, and now I'm at Cornerstone full-time permanently. And then it was just funny that August was like our worst month. So we like didn't have my paycheck. We go back, I'm like, okay, Jesus, like now, like for real, like what's up with this?
Yeah.
But then after that, it was like, okay, you're here, you're full-time. What are you going to do at this time? Like, how are you going to grow, and how are you going to make this work? And I spent a good chunk of time learning and reading and growing and talking to mentors and, you know, figuring out what is going to make Cornerstone work and great and sustain. And we did a little bit of rebranding. Like, we added more lifestyle items, more things that are going to celebrate women, you know, throughout their lifespan. And we had our, like, big launch of that in October. And from October on, it's been, like, insane. Just crazy. So,
yeah.
So, a little bit of research.
A lot of bit of research.
Yeah. I downplayed it quite a bit. But, but even the science behind it, to me, is amazing. You know, you look as far as, like, what...
Like, how we changed our store layout. How people shop.
Yeah, when I walked in, and I was like, hey, what?
Hey, yeah.
And then the desk is over here, and you're like, well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
When people walk in, they take a right.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. What else did you learn in that research that has benefited you guys?
My goodness. Just, like, making, like, how to sell. And that whole, like, why it's not okay to, you know, bombard somebody with a question. Why it's natural for people to have their defenses up when they...
What book were you
So, it's not actually a book, it's a program.
Oh, okay.
And I'll totally drop her a plug.
Sure.
It's called Sales Crusher Blueprint by Janine Mix.
Okay.
She's on Instagram and Facebook. And the woman is a beast. And she has a whole program that our entire team went through. And I don't want to give away too much, but... literally after we finished that and started implementing it, our sales doubled. Like 100%. Yeah. So, I learned so much from it, not just our employees, but it was just really fun to go through it together. It's not this like boring, like watch the video, read the thing. Like you get to be, you can make it as, I guess, as cool as you want to make it. But, but Sales Crusher Blueprint was insane for us. And
another lesson learned was to don't know why you came into business, like we said before, but stick true to your values and don't change your values to adjust to, you know, your clientele or whatever the case may be. You know, there would be times where we'd go back and forth like, oh, we should lower prices, or maybe we should start doing this and this and this. And, you know, we get many of our mentors and other people like, stick it out.
Yep.
Do what you know to do. Yep. Stick to your price point because that's what, you know, makes you comfortable and that's where you need to be.
Right.
And I think
the values behind it.
Right. And people get it, but it's really hard when you're struggling for sales at certain times of the year.
Yeah.
People are almost willing to do anything, you know, because you want to make, you got to keep the lights 100%. On, you got to eat.
Yeah.
But we can also tell you that every every storm, there's blue skies on the back of the side of every single storm. Right?
Yep.
Now we're a lot better at it.
Yeah.
Is whatever we're going through, and before we make a rash decision, let's wait on it a day, sometimes even 30 minutes, because so much changes.
Right.
Give it 5 days and see where we're at. If that decision still needs to be made, then we'll reapproach. But 90% of the time, whatever you were worried about 5 days ago is done past and gone, and sales have picked back up again. And you're like, okay, that was just a...
Have you guys made a decision that you're like, regret, shouldn't have done that, that maybe didn't align with mission, vision, values?
Gosh, let me think about it.
We did...
I kept some employees longer than I should have.
Every business.
We went through... it was funny, a friend of mine was like, you're going through your trimming season. We had to get rid of 3 people, and then that just opened up this space for like the right people to come in.
100%.
But we love our people. Yeah. So it's hard to let go of somebody that you love.
Right.
But when we did that, there was a complete shift as well in just sales and people's perception of us, because I can't be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even though people expect me to be there, all day. But when they come in now, before it would be like, oh, well, where's Tianna? I'll just come back when Tianna's here. Now I had a lady who had to talk to her husband about purchasing something. She was working with one of our girls, Maddie. She left and she calls back and she's ready to move forward. I answer the phone. And she's like, oh, hey, Tianna, I was working with Maddie on an order. Is she available? I was like, oh, she's out to lunch. She's like, well, I don't know if you can help me, but I'm like, I think I got it. So now we're in a place where our team has built so much trust that so cool. People now come and seek them out individually. Yeah. And it's not just, oh, I have to talk to Mike and Tianna. Like, they trust that they know what they're talking about because they do.
Right. I think that's important because a lot of business owners don't believe that can happen. Yeah. That when people walk into their business or they want their service, that there's no way that someone can give it like I can give it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just having that investment, and our team believes in the mission. We're really transparent with them. Yeah. We don't hide really anything. I mean, we have round table discussions. They know the finances. They know, hey, this is where we're at as far as our goal. And we definitely do goal setting, things like that. They know, hey, we got to pump the brakes on spending here and we got to do that. So we are like a family unit. Yeah. Your kids are upset when they can't get a new bike, but they're not as upset when they know
why they can't
get the new bike. So it's
exactly. And the transparency runs both ways, because we'll have some of our employees tell us like, hey, y'all need to pump the brakes on the spending. Or
that's Natasha. Natasha, we call her the executioner.
Yeah, she keeps us straight. She manages and watches the money and the outgoing and the incoming, and not necessarily maybe the bank account by all means, but if we get a big shipment of product and she's like, well, where did this come from? Because y'all were just saying you were broke the other day. She'll call us out on it, and she'll keep me on task. Or if I'm, trying to do, and I'll be honest, there's some builds that don't excite me like other builds, when I'm building furniture. And so I have a tendency to put those less exciting builds off to the side so I can do the fun ones first. Right. And she'll be the one like, hey, you have to still build everything, and so forth. So, keeping them invested and keeping transparency is insanely important.
Clients, team, just being straight up. I mean, it just works.
Because it's real. People relate to real. People relate to, everybody has money issues. Everybody, wants to eat. Everybody has a family and everybody has children in real life. So if they say it on both sides of the spectrum, bosses too, bosses, employees, everybody does. So if you keep that open line of communication, and boy, that goes farther than just business. That goes in marriage and everything else. Yeah. You keep those open lines of communication, then it's easier to handle. Even if the message isn't necessarily positive. Exactly. If you're upfront with me, like, hey, it didn't turn out too well, and she'll come and hey babe, what do you think about this?
I'm quality control.
Yeah. She's like, I'm not digging it, and I'll be butthurt about that. I worked really hard on that. Yeah. And after I give her that defensive answer, give me about an hour and be like, oh, dang it, she was right, you know, and then we fix it. And I appreciate that upfront and honesty as much as I, you know, chew her butt about it, you know, we still do it to each other. So I think it's helpful.
So what else do you guys do that keeps that culture alive with your team? Because there's transparency, there's communication, there's knowledge on the products. I guess everyone's super excited. You get to know their passions. Yeah. Do you guys meet like once a month? So just to, like, what else you got?
Yeah, I mean, we like this weekend we're going to DC. And we're taking Maddie with us, because
not everybody, people, that makes sense,
but Maddie is going with me to DC. We're going to a maker's market up there to meet some, new artisan and craftsmen to bring in, you know, some new products for the new year. And we'll get to ride in the car together. It's going to be super fun.
Might not be super fun.
It won't be super fun for him. But me and Maddie, we're going to have a good time. But, you know, we meet once a month to brainstorm, to look at systems, to see what's working, what's not working. Because we are still creating our systems. We are kind of seeing, like, that's falling through the cracks a whole lot. Like, where's the hole there? Like, why isn't this working?
We make everybody somewhat bosses. This goes in line with transparency too. If they see something wrong, they're more than welcome to bring it up. Like, hey, Mike, this isn't working. I like the system.
Right.
So now, again, that gives them investment into the business. You know, it gives them partial ownership. We ask them ownership questions. You know, so they are involved. For sure. Like, hey, we're thinking about doing this. What do you guys think?
Right.
You know, and all the way down to everybody. I mean, our 17-year-old that's working, you know, Ainsley, she's got just as much input as everybody else, because we want to keep in the military. I'd get guys that would come and ask to be in my unit every once in a while, no matter what their background was, whether they were a troubled soldier or anything like that. And I always took everybody that asked to be here, because I'm a firm believer, if you want to be somewhere, then you'll ultimately work harder at doing it. I use a story that I would tell young soldiers. My dad, when I was a teenager, would wake me up every morning on Saturday at 5 a.m. to go play golf with him. And at that time, I loved playing golf, and I still love playing golf. But as a teenager, nobody likes getting up at 5 a.m.
On a Saturday.
Sure, unless it's doing something you want to do.
Right.
So every Saturday morning, I would hop out of bed because I was excited to go do what I was going to go do. And the same thing if you're fishing or hunting or whatever you're going to do that you want to do. It's so easy to get over those stresses or those things that you don't want to do because you're going to do something fun. So if we can create that environment where when Ainsley or Maddie or any of our employees wake up and they have to work that day and they hop out of bed because they want to go to work,
yeah, for sure,
then they'll work 2,000 times harder than they would if it's just I got to go to work again.
Right.
Work is a 4-letter word. Just, you know, nobody generally wants to do it, but if we can make it as fun as possible, or as family oriented as possible, and even when we talk to our employees and communicate with them, it doesn't always have to be about work either. You know, we keep them involved on.
Yeah.
We have a group text.
We call it the group chat from hell.
Yeah.
Because we all text each other. It could be 11 o'clock at night, and we're like, you know, sending funny memes or whatever. But
there's got to be a line of. You know, there's still got to be a line of leadership, employer and employee.
Sure, for sure.
But there has to be a relationship in there. It can't be so military.
Right.
You know, where hey, just do what you're told and go.
But I think with that transparency, it just kind of creates that leadership employee relationship because they know the back end.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not like, this is your scope and this is all you get to see. So they think that, oh, well, I know what sales were, and we killed it, and I make this, so they just must be out here relaxing and laying on a beach somewhere. I mean, they know the deal. They know where they see it all. So there isn't that, mystery of, just thinking they're just, you know,
work. Yeah,
they're the workhorses or something. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Yeah. No, and that's going to build, oh my gosh, because once they, like you said, they have the transparency, they know why it's real to you guys, it becomes real to them, it makes it, for somebody that doesn't have that type of relationship, it's super easy to leave the job.
Yeah.
Very easy to leave the job. There's no connection, there's no buy-in, it's it's
and then
nothing
how do you
to
keep
cut
talent that way?
Exactly.
Because we're a small business, so essentially, we have incredibly talented women that work for us that could go work for major businesses and probably make, to be honest, twice of what we can afford to pay them. Why would they stay? Right. You know what I mean? If they're not,
if it was right.
You
know, it was just that.
It was just
but
that.
It's not.
It's not.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
So what's next for you guys? What are you guys looking at? Since you said you're goal setters, so what are you guys looking at?
I don't know if I'm gonna spill the tea.
I'll knock it over in here.
So we've got some pretty killer things coming in the new year. One thing we won't be doing anymore, I'll say that, is we make custom signs, and that is no longer after this weekend. We will not. I don't have time. We had a person that was kind of helping us do it, and then she's no longer doing it. It's a time sucker.
Customer signs being in like
the pretty signs that you can put on your wall that might say home.
So we had a line.
Gotcha.
We had a line where I would build the sign backing in the frame. We'd hand paint the signs. Generally, they're mostly letters or words or inspirational quotes and stuff like that. And that is amazing, but when you have all the other furniture to build, sign making is almost its own separate business.
100%.
It would take
there are people that just make signs. So that is leaving, and in the new year, let's see, what are we doing? I don't know. I want to spell it.
Well, we want to hit the wholesale.
Yeah, that's one of our goals. We want to hit the wholesale market with some of our like custom designs. That would be really cool to be able to have our things.
Yeah, where would you put it?
So, like, where would we sell our things? Yeah. Wholesale. So, one of our missions is support the makers. So, we know how hard it is as small business owners that work with our hands to sell our things. So, if it's something that we don't make in our store, everything else is made by another small business or another, like, artisan or craftsman. So, we would sell our things in the same place that they sell their things. We already have that connection with them. Getting into those markets, like, what we're doing in DC, this weekend, that would be the goal. So that's a goal. I'm going to revamp my website.
And what else?
Okay, so I'll say this.
Yeah.
We are about to bring a unique experience to Fayetteville that nobody does it. It's not in Fayetteville currently. It would be awesome team building, awesome date night, awesome girls' night.
It's interactive.
And
is it going to be connected to
involves our brand?
Yeah. So you're going to be connected to your shop right now, or your store?
It'll be in our retail space.
Yeah, it'll be in our retail space.
It'll be in our retail space.
Okay.
So it's going to be cool.
My mind's like,
yep.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, and we can give you a timeline.
We hope to launch by right before Valentine's Day, which would be perfect for a couple's night.
That's why you guys are planning Valentine's stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. I think we want to do. I was teetering with an idea. We used to do what was called a chalk and chat class, where ladies we sell chalkboards that I build and stuff like that, and we'd have a chalk artist come in, and it was almost like what's the painting
wine and design.
Yeah.
Like that.
It was something like that, but with chalk art. So we'd have a chalk artist come in, and everybody would do the designs and stuff like that. And we wanted to, I was teetering with the idea of taking that, but at a furniture building level, where maybe if people are interested, would they love to come and build a coffee table, under my guidance, but, work with those tools and so forth. And there's a lot of details that have to be
our
worked
insurance
out.
I bet he's freaking out.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if that's possible, but we're teetering with that idea.
Can you make the furniture with plastic forks?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
The pad, all the rooms. The saw blades must be
inside of a bubble.
Right.
Yeah.
So that, if we can figure that out, I think, and with a little bit of research, we're still asking some of the other customers, would that be interesting to you? So far, we've got some pretty good feedback.
Yeah.
Ladies like, oh yeah, I definitely love to. Because that would add to the story. I made this. I made this coffee table,
Yeah.
Dude, videos.
Yeah.
Watching ladies make furniture.
Yeah.
And crush it at it. Because it's such a... What? Wait, what?
Yeah.
It's
hold on, wait. It's
a scroll stopper.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Just saying, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be sick.
But yeah, we've got something super cool coming early spring. I think it fits our brand. It goes along with celebrating women and kind of in that whole lifestyle genre. And yeah, nobody else does it.
I won't ask anymore.
Yeah. I'll tell you after we stop the...
Oh, hell yeah. Good.
You're sworn to secrecy.
Sworn to secrecy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Everybody else has
Actually,
to wait till February.
Let's not tell me.
Okay.
I mean, not that I couldn't hold a secret, but watch the secret get out.
Oh, and then it'll
be like, dude, Ruben. I'm like, no, I promise. You're like, bull.
Yeah.
Okay. God. But it's killing me a little bit. As long as we can sign up, the wife and I, and maybe even the kids. I don't know what this looks like.
We'll have you come to our practice class.
Done.
For free.
Yeah.
For sure.
Done.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. All right. Okay. All right. You guys answered that. Do you have a favorite failure that you believe has set you up for success?
Favorite failure. I would say... That's a good question.
That is a good question.
I mean, we already talked about learning from one of my biggest things that I learned from was that stupid billboard. That was the dumbest idea ever. Don't ever do that again. But I think
but it was digital.
Right. Yeah, bad idea. I think every one of our failures, I mean, I know that's the blanket answer, but our experience with other businesses definitely has set us up, teed us up for success here,
right,
at
exactly.
Cornerstone. Because they were on a smaller scale than where we're at now, it was like having those training wheels on. You know what I mean? I fell, I skinned my knee, before you're BMX, riding. I don't think that you have to have had that experience to be successful.
Yeah.
But I think that gives us an edge.
Exactly.
Because we've done it. So now I know where to go if this happens, and I know what not to invest in, and I know, what sells and what doesn't sell, or, what marketing tactics to use and things like that.
Exactly.
I think for me, if you're going to go into business, then do it. Dedicate, don't half. Go all in if you're going to do it. And it's tough to do. And
sometimes that's not an option.
Correct.
But
I think, within the first year, and I think for us, for our first year, I guess not in the sense of we weren't all in. In that first year, we kept a fallback plan. There was always a bailout plan of, if this goes under, we're going to fall back on this.
Right.
And that was always relevant to whatever decision we made within our first year, because at any given time, it could go away. After the first year, we're like, all right, we're in it now.
Yeah.
So now our decisions are for future growth and investments and stuff like that. As far as the business is concerned, is we're doing it 100%. And if it fails after that, well, then it was meant to be, I suppose. Right. But that's God's way of telling us, hey, time to move on to something else.
Yeah.
So we definitely learned that don't half-ass it.
Right. Exactly.
Do it all. Do as much as you can. Invest. Sleep or labor is free. So for us, I don't take a paycheck from this business. So my labor is kind of free. But when it comes to hard work, there's nothing that says I have to go home and be in bed at this time. So work those late hours.
Exactly.
And there's a great saying is, while you're sleeping, somebody else out there is up and crushing it and training and will bypass you in a second. So
get me stoked.
Stay late.
Yep.
It's okay. If you have an understanding wife, if you have an understanding family that they understand that you are trying to grow this.
Exactly.
And we want to leave a legacy. I mean, that's my mindset right now is anything that gets in my way of leaving an inheritance and a legacy for my children, it's got to go.
Yeah.
It's just got to go. So if we have to grind hard, for the next 3 to 5 years to be set up so that we can have more family time, we make the time that we have count.
Yes.
Sometimes the kids are in the warehouse, running around and playing with paint stuff and, whatever. But, now it's just the time to grind. We just have to do it. It's not a 9 to 5, just gonna lay back and make pretty things, you know?
Right.
And for anybody that believes, if I make these pretty things and just open the doors, people will come. That's not... Right. You have to go find your sales. You have to get out there and you have to adjust and be creative. Like we said, family time is not necessarily all the time. It's not that stereotypical you're home for dinner. So
Right.
sometimes the kids come to the warehouse. In January or December right now, it's freezing. So we adjusted. I made a 12 foot by 12 foot room inside my warehouse and put heaters in there and a TV so now there's Disney movies playing.
It's kind of sick.
Yeah.
So they can do that. And for the real part of it is I can hang out with my kids while I'm working.
Right.
They're in there and they're having a great time. They come out and they run around. And,
Right.
If they weren't, then I wouldn't see them until it was bedtime at night.
Right. Exactly.
It's going to be dynamic. Make it work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just figure it out.
Exactly. They say if the why is big enough, the how doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you can still find joy in those little things. It might not be how you open the book. It might be story worthy, but those memories we create, them kids will have a blast hanging out in Dad's warehouse.
No doubt.
If I take a minute to go take them to the playground, or we do, so all those stories are still being made. And
exactly.
all those memories are still being made. It's just in a different light, and you can still get your business done. And they'll appreciate it. They understand. Our smallest ones, 5 and 2, they understand what's going on.
I have probably about 100 videos on my phone and I don't even know if they've ever even seen me make a Cornerstone video, but we like go live and do things like that. Yeah. But they get on the phone, they're like, "Hey guys, this is Mila. Welcome to Cornerstone." They make Cornerstone videos, and our 17-year-old son, I just, I'm a crying mom, like all moms cry, but our busiest time of the year is October to the end of November, because everyone wants a table for Thanksgiving. So that's the times where we're at the warehouse till 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, building, grinding, doing the things. And I came, and they pick up the slack, at home. And I was like, "Joe, I just feel so bad, I haven't seen you." And he's like, "Mom, you're the hardest working mom there ever was. He's like, "We're fine. We're good, and we're really proud of you." And I was like, yes, just done, because you're emotionally drained, you're physically drained, and then your 17-year-old who you expect to be you didn't make dinner all week long. Yeah. And he's like, "No, Mom, I got it. We're eating sloppy joes, but it's good."
And that's where the transparency relays over too. We're transparent with our children too.
Right.
Yeah. They know what we're doing. They know that we struggle to do this and try and afford this and make this happen, and they get it. Hey, we're trying, guys. We're trying. Exactly. Go get it. Get after it. We understand.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Mm-hmm. What's cool about that is, one, with what you said, you grind, hustle for 3 to 5 years. Yeah. It's amazing how some people look at a 30-year career or a 30-year career, and they stay that safe, quote unquote, path to retire or whatever, to live the life that they desire. Right. Yeah. And it's die for 3 to 5 years. Yeah. What a great trade-off.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the way
it goes. 3 to 5 years goes so quick.
So quick.
So fast. And when we say, when it's so easy to get nervous about the bad stories of when you hear other business owners "Oh, get ready, it's going to be horrible." Yeah. It's going to be tough. Yeah. But it shouldn't let you scare you away from pursuing something that you want to do.
That's right.
Willpower and drive and dedication far surpass struggling financially or whatever. Bills will always be bills. Yeah. They'll get paid. Yeah. You're going to eat. Yeah. You have human nature to survive. Yeah. That's okay.
I just did a video this morning because I was thinking about so I reversed my time. So I'll put in some late hours. Yeah. But I've time blocked that time for the fam. Yeah, for sure. I'll wake up super early to make up for the, and I was thinking about this morning, and I agree with that, to kind of beat up the internal and the external dialogue. Yeah. We just hustle, just work a little bit harder, and it pushes you right through it. You're going to have people say that you're not going to make it and it's going to suck. And it's as long as you put in that work to something that you enjoy, what evs? Yeah. I'm going to make it.
I feel super, super blessed to be doing this with my husband. Yeah. I think it would be 100 times harder for it to be his vision and not mine. Right. And him coming home at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, it does make it a little bit easier that we're both on the same page and we're both grinding towards the same goal. It helps with the mom guilt and the oh, I should be doing this, because then you see the other moms doing the things and you're like, we're not doing that. We're doing like Elf on the Shelf. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah.
But,
we don't have
not a thing that's going to happen, but it does help, that we're like, we're all in it, down to our 2-year-old who's trying to make his own little YouTube channel talking about Welcome to Cornerstone. Like, and everybody's in.
So, do you guys have an earliest moment? Because one thing, so I've tried like 3 businesses that have failed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like, but it's all good, and I've learned.
Sure.
But so I started documenting. From it, right? 100%.
100%.
So I started documenting. I was like, well, how much times have I tried to be an entrepreneur? Like tried or did my best or whatever.
Yeah.
Can you remember your earliest moment where you were entrepreneurial? Can you remember that as a kid? And even if it's selling freaking lollipops.
Grinding. Like 4 years old, I used to take the prettiest rocks out of my grandmother's garden and get a brown paper bag and tape it to the mailbox with my raggedy sign that said rocks 5 cents. And people stopped.
See?
Like, we lived on a cul-de-sac, but you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I think I wasn't even kindergarten yet.
Exactly. I think it shows up early.
Yeah. Give me that, buddy.
Yeah. And for me, I'd say military for me, and military isn't entrepreneurial at all.
Yeah.
But your success in the military is entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
You make your own success. You will get you promoted. You will get you that cool job that nobody else can get. A lot of people will wait for something to happen so they can jump on it. But you make your own future.
100%.
So you work, you put in those hours. Somebody's always watching. Mm-hmm. Somebody's always looking at you. And the second that you take the easy route, you set a new standard for the people around you. Yep. They look at you and like, oh, well, since you're doing it easy, that must be the way to do it.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
My children are always watching. Yeah. So if I do something easy or wrong, they pick that up, and that's the way they're going to do it. So if I'm not setting an example all the time.
This guy that I look up to one day is like, dude, everything is data. Yeah. Everything you do to the way you move is data because someone's watching.
Yeah.
And I was like...
I know, right?
Right, you get free, and then everything.
But it's true. It's true.
Yeah. And then everything that in business, everything has a dollar amount attached to it. That's really
setting a time budget. That's
essentially because we could go down a rabbit hole on decisions on the business and waste a lot of time on things that probably don't deserve that much time or effort from us. And once you start adding your value, whatever that dollar amount is, if you value yourself. We challenge new business owners or entrepreneurs, value yourself. Mm-hmm. Pick an amount that you think you're worth hourly.
Yeah, now you're worth an ad tax.
And then add tax to it. And then keep time.
Keep gross and net.
Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So when you're making that decision of, well, I got to worry about the warning labels that go on the bottom of my products, and I invested 2 hours into it, but that warning label is not going to make your sales grow, and it's something you have to do.
Right.
And you've wasted 2 hours, and if you're valued at $30 an hour, you just spent $60
on top of whatever they cost.
On top of what they cost, and it was just a waste of time.
Right.
Give it the 5-10 minutes that you're supposed to do. Make the warning label, stick it, move on to something else.
That's right.
Your time is valuable, and then when you're off, you can be off. Now you can be. Now I'm going to be dad.
That's right.
Now I'm going to be husband because you've maximized your time
100%
effectively.
Yes.
I gotta work on time blocking. I suck at time management.
I had to learn that. Because I was raising, she's 12-year-old now, but I was raising her by my lonesome since she was 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was working at UPS, and I was like, because you just drop stuff, and you're like, okay, now it's my fault.
Right.
Like, I can't quit blaming everyone else. So then you look at your calendar, and you're like, that's what trained me.
Yeah.
Was life.
Yeah.
Life was like, dude, I'll keep punching you in the head if you don't figure this out.
Right.
So
put your hands up.
Yeah. Put your hands up. And I was like, okay, all right, got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what helped me.
Cool.
All right. What profession other than your own would be fun to attempt?
So I, up until a year and a half ago, was going to be a midwife. Like I said, I love women, and as midwives, we get to care for women across their lifespan. It's not just, a lot of people think like midwife, and they think home birth, and then they think, just taking care of like a pregnant woman, but midwives actually care for women across their life. So, that is for sure something that I could have done for the rest of my life and been completely content to do it.
Yeah.
I love speaking. I love instructing. I love talking. I don't know what job title would be behind that, but anything that would put me in a public eye of, speaking at conferences, motivational speaking, pastoralship, maybe there's something down that road, even maybe the political area, although now we're getting into I don't think I can handle all the side stuff on that, but I love leadership roles. I love being in charge of stuff. I love coming up with good ways to do things and keeping people motivated and fired up to do things. That's phenomenal for me.
What would be what would be the title of your first class that you were teaching?
Oh, man. How to be, I don't know, like things that are important to me. Marriage is important. Marriage is super important. I would love to do and teach people how to be married. I'd love to teach young men how to be men. That would be phenomenal. So something along those lines, just being a man, men 101, something like that, I think would be phenomenal to do. And who knows, maybe that opportunity will arise. We can do it as a side gig. I still get the joy of raising my sons, so that's phenomenal. I still get to speak in that aspect, and we have young couples that come in all the time, so that's what's great about retail, and especially since you're not so focused on trying to sell your furniture, you can just talk to people.
We really get to love on them.
People will spill some of their issues sometimes, and you can provide that guidance in little short spurts. So I get that joy a little bit.
Right.
And even when I'm delivering the furniture to their home, we get the time to talk and connect with people. And to me, when I told my wife, when she asked me what I wanted to do when I was retiring from the military, I said I wanted to serve. That is an essence of kind of serving a little bit, where not only are we providing furniture necessarily, we are serving by providing somebody something that is needed, but we can serve by advice, friendship, relationships, guidance, and so forth. For whatever it's worth, they might look at me like, what do you know? But hopefully, if they're following us on social media, if they're, following somehow, hopefully they'll get that taste of, what makes me excited to be me. And it's her, or building furniture, whatever I love to do. I think it's phenomenal. That's what I'm doing.
Thank you.
You guys are doing a disservice not putting this mess on camera. I mean, how cool would that be to watch that transit? I mean, honestly, I was thinking about earlier when you guys were loading stuff up and I guess it was a truck, maybe. Yeah, okay, in a truck and going out to the, how cool would it be to go back and look at that footage and
oh my God, that would be wonderful.
I know.
I do love to go back and look at videos. Yeah. That's the new thing, 2019, more videos. More videos.
Yeah. And let me know, if something like that happens. Yeah. We can get a lot of people invited. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be that one person that looks at you like, what is this guy saying? But dude, you have a room full of people?
Right.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yep. All right. Purchases of less than $100 that have most improved your life.
Purchases less than $100.
Less than $100 that most improved my life.
It helps you if you sing it.
Yes, it does.
Think just a little bit deeper.
Less than $100 improved my life. Grocery pickup. Walmart grocery pickup. That's where it's at because it's free. Don't diss me because I shop at Walmart. I love being able to get it online, go pick it up. That is definitely helpful.
Yeah.
Other things.
I've got a myriad of power tools for less than $100. Insanely improve my life.
Oh, no
makes
doubt.
My job easier. Also scoring materials like lumber. Again, labor and sleep are free for me. So we had I ran into this stockpile of wood that was over 200 years old. And the cost for me was to tear it down, and that was it. The lady owned. So long story long, I guess, is I'm at Lowe's every day buying paint, screws, stains, and stuff like that. And so you get to know the cashiers and stuff like that. And a lady knows what I did or what I do, and she said, I have this shed in my backyard that's really run down, and I can't get homeowners insurance because of this shed.
Really?
And I need it torn down.
Dang.
And I was like, she's like, do you do that? And originally I was like, no, I don't do that. And then she said the shed was built from wood made from 1810. And I was like, oh,
I'll be there.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I do that.
Yeah, I do that all of a sudden. And I was like, well, what are you looking for? She's like, well, I just need it gone. So I don't care what you do with it. And so I got my teenagers and some of his friends and a couple chainsaws, and we spent an afternoon and 10, 15 truckloads back and forth. That's that hustle of, manual labor. And we loaded up all the wood, and it was insanely difficult, and we de-nailed it all, and we did, and we turn it around. And
what do you do with the nail? Can you do something with the nails? No,
I don't. I think you could probably melt them down and maybe turn them into something else, or maybe put those people love the nail holes, and maybe if there is one of those old school square nails inside there, we kind of leave it if we can,
right?
Because that does deliver the story. But denailing it all, and now we turn it into beautiful furniture, and it cost me my labor, So
you know what? I thought of two things less than $100 that improved my life: Asana and Trello. They're two apps that we use for task management and project management. Yes. Those have greatly enhanced our...
I keep hearing Trello over and over and over.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know it was that popular. I mean, we use it, but it's super cool.
For what you said, getting the task and the whole team on it.
Yeah, so it just goes down the line from invoice paid, and it's in this big spills, and this is the due date and stuff like that. So you get to see it, move down, but
how much did our Square system cost us?
There's probably more than
Was it?
Square's
huge.
Square,
because the iPad.
Such a phenomenal
dude, if there's one thing that kind of chaps my ass a little bit, it's going somewhere and the person is selling goods and it's just cash.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I'm like, so here's the deal.
Yeah.
We're in 2018.
Yeah.
And all I have is a card.
Yeah.
And that sucks. How much sales are they missing out on? And bigger than that, how much opportunity are they missing to getting their product into someone's home? The thing that they spent time building
and making. Yeah.
And we would understand, to a level, so obviously you understand when you go to credit cards, you got, percentage per swipe. Sure. And that's what I'm sure what steers a lot of the entrepreneurs away. You got to worry about this. Or that initial purchase of the system. But for us, it does more than just collect credit cards.
It
gives you your
client information.
It calculates your taxes. It does everything for you. Stuff that you as an entrepreneur don't have time to do.
Right.
And probably don't have money to go and hire have somebody else do it.
Yeah.
So it's
essential.
Worth it.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure the percentages are a tax write-off because it's a cost of sale.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
it just is what it is. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. Since I've kind of peppered you guys with questions, what question do you have for me?
So, Ruben.
What are your plans for 2019? What's big on your...
I feel
what's your top 3 goals for 2019?
Disrupt, conquer, destroy.
There you
go. Nice. I love it.
Yeah. No, we got some big goals. We run a business development business. Mm-hmm. And in 2019, we are going to cause some waves. And it's going to be cool to go back and just hear me say this at the end of 2019 or 2020 or the beginning of 2020, because we're building nationwide a business development business.
Okay.
That's going to help other businesses grow to that next level.
I love it. So when you mean business development, what does that mean to you?
So really, it's just improving the lives of the business owner.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get down to it, that could be time and it could be growth or it could mean sustainability. It just, what's going to improve that person?
Yeah.
Either getting their message further across or just, I mean, how many people come to talk with me and they just want more time with the family?
Yeah.
Right. And so what does some of that leverage look like? I mean, you spoke on it to why are you spending so much time on a warning label?
Right.
Right. I mean, these are the conversations that you systematically talk with them about and hold them accountable to.
I love that.
Because they got to know and understand it's bigger than them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super cool that he's my accountability person. He's like,
gotta have it.
Let it go. Let it go.
Move on.
Yeah. Move on. Yeah.
So what question do you guys have for everyone listening?
How bad do you want to know what we're going to do in February of 2019? Pretty bad, right?
I do.
I think questions, what would you, for those listening, what do you want in a business? What do you see when, what keeps you coming back to a certain location other than habits, or I know we're creatures of habit and convenience. So obviously drive-throughs and stuff that you just normally have done all your life, those will keep you always coming back. But other than that, what would make you seek somebody out to go to that location and do that? We're always interested in that,
right.
Because we'll never know. I think our biggest question in retail sales is we know we're in a military town, so we know payday is 1st and the 15th. We know that. We know weather drives sales. So we get all that, but we've had payday weekend, 70 degrees outside, and sales are, we don't know what happened, but we could have a Wednesday, which is in the middle of the payday. It's raining outside and sales are through the roof, and we have no idea what drives that.
Figuring that out.
And I don't think anybody knows. If everybody knew that, everybody would probably be in business.
Yeah, I do. I talked to my my business mentor, and we, share information on sales, and it'll be one day she killed it, and I'm like, man, we were dead all day. And then the next day it's like, oh yeah, we killed it. She's like, yeah, I don't know, we were dead. But
so I'd love to hear the consumer's perspective. Is it just absolutely random where you wake up and say, you know what, I think I'm going to buy a table today, or was there a process that went through?
There's so many moving parts of life.
Yeah.
It's interesting though.
And we've realized for our customers, we generally get 3 visits from them before they pull the trigger on a big purchase. That first trigger is, that first visit is, you got to take it all in. Oh my gosh, what is this place?
Yeah.
The second is okay, now I'm going to look at the quality and really inspect to make sure, because it was cool just looking at it, but now I need to focus on this. And then the third visit is generally when they'll come in all right, now we're ready, because they've gotten permission from their spouse or whatever the case may be. And because we know that's a big step too. Yeah. The husband's got to approve or the wife, whoever's in there. And,
generally the wife.
Generally the wife. Yeah. So the 3 visits, but other than that, even our smaller sales, we kind of understand the big purchases. Furniture is a big deal. It costs a lot of money. It's a big investment. But smaller purchases, you'll have great days and not so great days, and just wondering. And it seems like they all, if consumers got together and held a podcast or a meeting and said, hey, we're all going shopping today. Yeah. Because that's what it seems like, you'll get 20, 30 people coming in to buy purses and scarves and jewelry. And where do they come from? And then other days, nobody comes in.
Yeah. And this is me pure guessing. Do you think that it might be sales of other businesses that are around your area and it's just the traffic?
Could be.
I think it could be. I think
some days.
Yeah. I think some days. Yeah, 100%.
I think we're definitely firm believers. Food drives sales.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially in a downtown area where we are.
Yeah. Being in the Army, every time we get stationed or go live somewhere else, which, in 21 years we moved probably 15 times.
Yeah.
So every time we go somewhere new, the first thing we do is go find a place to eat. It's date night, take you out, let's go check out downtown.
What's our downtown like? Right. Where's all the good food?
We drive out, we go get something to eat, and after we get something to eat, then we walk around. Who doesn't do that? Everybody does that. So nobody moves to a new location and says, hey, let's go see if there's any cool furniture stores downtown.
Right.
No, they go and eat.
Yeah.
And then they run across us, or they see us on social media. Those are generally the two things, but other than that, outside of that, so if downtown was to improve anything, it's more food, more reason to all the food, or anywhere for that matter, because it drives sales.
Yeah.
I need a taco truck.
We had
it right up front of my store.
Right.
I'm sure you can make that happen.
Right?
Yeah, hopefully.
It'd be so awesome.
Yeah.
We need tacos.
Yeah. So where could Taste Friday? You know what I thought today was when you said that? I was like, Tuesday, man. So this might be it's freaking Friday. This guy. You still buy tacos on Friday.
Yes.
So where can people find you guys?
So we're at 240 Hay Street, beautiful downtown Fayetteville. We're right on the corner. We've got a big yellow door, and you can also find us on social media. On our Instagram and Facebook, and then on our website, it's www.fayettevillefarmtables.com.
Nice. So the Facebook and Instagram, what is your handle?
Cornerstone Design Co.
Cornerstone Design Co.
Co. Yep.
Got it. Well, I appreciate you guys stopping by today, telling your story.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. We had fun.
Me too. I'm super excited. As soon as I hit stop, you guys are going to tell me what's going down.
Yeah, I will. I will for sure tell you.